Hello, this is News Mongolian MNB World. I am Jugdur. And for our top stories. Results of the Bayanzurkh District collision investigation to be released by March 15. Mongolia makes strides in reducing imported energy dependence with the Amgalan Thermal Power Plant's expansion. Erdenes Tavan Tolgoi JSC company announces a dividend distribution. For other news, stay with us. A deadly collision between a fuel truck and a car on the night of January 23rd has left the Bayanzurkh District community grappling with substantial losses. The collision resulted in a fire and explosions that claimed the lives of 5 people, including 3 firefighters, and destroyed over 100 residences.
The intensity of the fires resulting from the explosion not only claimed lives, but also wreaked havoc on surrounding structures. 5 buildings now require significant restoration efforts. 2 apartment buildings bore the brunt of the damage. The investigation into this tragic event has been thorough, with a dedicated team of 189 people working on the case. 3 firefighters lost their lives in the line of duty, and 2 people hospitalized for severe injuries did not survive. The findings of 8 measures and investigations are scheduled to be disclosed by March 15th. The public is eagerly awaiting the findings, hoping for insight into the cause of the collision and how to prevent similar incidents in the future. The Bayanzurkh District is now faced with the challenge of rebuilding and restoring the affected areas. The incident's aftermath has profoundly impacted the community, emphasizing the importance of stringent safety measures transporting hazardous materials. This tragic event was a stark reminder of potential dangers associated with such activities, urging authorities to take proactive steps to prevent future catastrophes.
Mongolia is actively addressing its imported energy dependence, concerning through strategic initiatives outlined in the government's new revival policy. In June 2022, a pivotal decision was made to commence the expansion of the Amgalan Thermal Power Plant to provide heat to the eastern parts of Ulaanbaatar. The expansion is currently underway and is expected to transform the area's energy landscape.
The heating network's 4.4 million square meter capacity is set to cover an additional 20,000 apartments and 2,500 entities. The upgrade will greatly benefit the community by providing heat to 60,000 apartments and 8,000 entities, improving the quality of life for a substantial number of residents. The expansion project is 92% complete.
The project is being implemented according to schedule. We plan to conduct connection tests, and by May, the plant will be fully operational. The power plant will be expanded by 160 megawatts under the government's policy to ensure energy sector stability. The project will result in an additional 112,000 households being provided heating and electricity. Financing for this endeavor was secured through various channels, with 85% of the funds sourced from Development Bank loan. The remaining 15% came from the other domestic sources, making the total project funding 61 billion MNT, a relatively low cost compared to similar international projects.
The power plant's expansion aligns with the government's commitment to sustainable development and reducing reliance on imported energy. The new revival policy underscores the importance of self-sufficiency and resilience in the face of energy challenges, putting Mongolia on a path to a more secure and sustainable future. As the project nears completion, its positive impact on the eastern parts of Ulaanbaatar is expected to be significant, marking a crucial milestone for Mongolia's journey to energy independence.
The board of directors of Erdenes Tavan Tolgoi JSC company has decided to distribute dividends of 266 MNT per share from the company's 2023 net profit.
The government ordered that a special regime be implemented at the company in 2023 to optimize production, sales, and transportation. As a result of new measures, the company saw a net profit of approximately 3.2 trillion MNT, leading to dividend distribution. A shareholder with 1,072 shares can expect to receive dividends of 285,000 MNT or 256,000 MNT after taxes. The dividend distribution is contingent upon an audit of the company's financial statements scheduled for April 2024. The announcement follows the distribution of 104,000 MNT in dividends for 1,072 shares before the Lunar New Year holiday in 2024. Around 351 billion MNT in dividends were distributed to 3.4 million Mongolian citizens. The company generated a net profit of 1.3 trillion MNT in 2022, resulting dividends of 108.7 MNT per share.
Now please take a look at currency exchange rates provided by the Central Bank of Mongolia. Now please have foreign news partnered with international news agencies. A wave of severe sandstorms swept across northern China over the weekend, disrupting transportation and leaving thousands of people stranded, state media CCTV reported.
In Xinjiang, an autonomous region in northwestern China, various cities including Buzhou witnessed strong wind gusts along with sandstorms. Typhoon-scale gales hit up Turpan, another city in the north, causing more than 32,000 people to be relocated by Sunday morning. Neighboring Xinjiang, Ningxia Autonomous Region and Shanxi Province also encountered gales of floating dust, with severe sandstorms hitting certain locations, reducing local visibility to less than 500 meters, CCTV said. The Central Meteorological Observatory issued an orange alert for a cold wave and blue alert for sandstorms on Sunday. The ongoing cold wave is expected to last until February 22nd.
More than 100 people were detained in 8 cities across Russia on Saturday after they came to lay flowers in the memory of the late Russian opposition activist Alexei Navalny, according to OVD-Info, a group that monitors political repression in Russia. Police blocked access to a memorial in the Siberian city of Novosibirsk and detained several people there, as well as in another Siberian city, Surjgat, OVD-Info said.
Video shared on social media from Novosibirsk showed people sticking red flowers upright in the snow under the watchful eye of police who blocked access to the memorial with ticker tape. In Moscow, flowers were removed overnight from a memorial near the headquarters of Russia's Federal Security Service by a large group while police looked on, a video showed. But by morning, more flowers had appeared. The circumstances of Navalny's death are still largely unclear. Russia's Federal Penitentiary Service reported that Navalny felt sick after a walk Friday and lost consciousness at the penal colony in the town of Kharp in the Yamalo-Nenets region, about 1,900 kilometers northeast of Moscow. An ambulance arrived, but he couldn't be revived. The cause of death is still being established, it said. A memorial of Russia's late opposition leader Alexei Navalny in St. Petersburg was destroyed overnight by unidentified people on Sunday. On Friday and Saturday, people in St. Petersburg laid flowers at a monument to victims of political repression following the announcement of Navalny's death in a Russian prison. Many other floral tributes around Russia were also destroyed, according to local media. At least 230 people have been detained in 21 Russian cities while gathering to mark Navalny's death, police monitoring group over there Info said Saturday. Many others were stopped by security forces while laying flowers in the politician's honor. Navalny's spokesperson confirmed Saturday that the Russian opposition leader had died at the remote Arctic penal colony and said he was murdered, but it is unclear where his body is. His death at age 47 has deprived the Russian opposition of its most well-known and inspiring politician, less than a month before an election that will give President Vladimir Putin another 6 years in power.
At least 3 people were killed in a Russian bombing of a private residential building in the eastern Ukrainian city of Kramatorsk overnight on Sunday, local authorities reported.
Among the victims were a 46-year-old woman and her 23-year-old son, whose bodies were removed from the rubble in the immediate aftermath of the bombing, the local city council said, citing the regional prosecutor. The search for a third known victim, probably the grandmother, has turned up only scattered remains, but operations to clear the rubble remain underway. Rescuers also managed to free a cat trapped under the rubble. An elderly couple in a nearby house were injured and taken to hospital, authorities added, while some 20 buildings and a car were damaged in debris from the blast. Kramatorsk remains in the Ukrainian side of the front line in Donetsk, but has regularly been targeted by Russian firepower, most notably the bombing of a train station that left dozens of people dead in the early days of the Russian invasion.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu presented a declarative decision on a Palestinian state for cabinet approval on Sunday. The decision states that Israel categorically rejects international edicts on a permanent arrangement with the Palestinians.
Such an arrangement will be achieved only through direct negotiations between these sides. Israel will continue to oppose unilateral recognition of a Palestinian state. Recognition such as that following the massacre of October 7th will grant a major price to terror, a price that has not been seen before and will prevent any future peace arrangement, the declaration reads.
In light of the talks recently heard in the international community about an attempt to unilaterally impose a Palestinian state on Israel, today I'm bringing a declarative decision on this issue for the government's approval. I'm sure it'll be widely accepted. Here is the statement. Israel categorically rejects international edicts on a permanent arrangement with the Palestinians. Such an arrangement will be achieved only through direct negotiations between the sides. Israel will continue to oppose unilateral recognition of a Palestinian state. Recognition such as that, following the massacre of October 7th, will grant a major price to terror, a price that has not been seen before and will prevent any future peace arrangements.
Pope Francis called for peace during the traditional Angelus prayer on Sunday and asked the faithful not to forget conflicts in Sudan and Mozambique.
It's been 10 months since the outbreak of armed conflict in Sudan, which has resulted in a very serious humanitarian situation. Pope Francis said, "Let us pray that ways of peace will soon be found to build the future of dear Sudan." Sudan plunged into chaos last April when clashes erupted in the capital Khartoum between the Sudanese military led by General Abdel Fattah Burhan and the RSF commanded by General Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo. The violence soon spread to different parts of the East African countries, killing at least 12,000 people and forcing 1.5 million refugees to flee into neighboring countries. The pontiff also asked for prayers for Mozambique, where in recent days the Catholic mission of Our Lady of Africa in Mazeza was also set on fire.
All right, that's all for today. Thank you for staying tuned. We'll see you next time with more news and updates. Have a great day ahead.